Well, that's a tough one. I would say you can't really slow him down. It's interesting. The last couple of seasons, his production has really gone up towards the end of the season. What contributes to that, I'm not exactly sure. He's kind of just a beast of a human being when you look at him physically, and you see the different gifts that he has athletically for someone his size, to also have the kind of speed and agility. I know that Coach Belichick talked about that last week when they lost to the Titans. I don't know if you can necessarily slow him down. I mean, it's a big-time run game, but the question is, to me, is can the Ravens' run game outdo that of the Titans? Derrick Henry, he's a freak of nature, and there's no real stopping him, but can you do better than him?
Yeah, Ravens have definitely had a great running game all year long, led by Lamar Jackson, likely the MVP of the league. He gets a primetime game in the playoffs now. You know, sometimes it can take a while for a player to earn his postseason stripes. Is Jackson ready for the glare of the playoff spotlight?
I think he is ready. I don't think we've been ready for Lamar Jackson ever since he really burst onto the scene, because we've continually waited for a moment for him to slip or something like that, or an injury, or just something to happen to derail the greatness that we've seen over the last year and a half or so. We saw it a little bit. We saw some nerves out of him in last year's playoff game against the Chargers, but even then he kind of picked it up towards the end and almost led the team to a comeback. They had a shot to win it in the last minute of that game last year, and ever since then, he's kind of just done a little bit of everything. So he's deserving of this regular season award, and obviously we'll still have to see if he can do it in the playoffs. But it seems like he's pretty deserving right now, because he's unlike anything we've ever seen before. Yeah.
The Ravens, Damon, have won 12 straight games. They've been playing great football. Any chance this bye works against them?
It could. I mean, it could. And it's just kind of like the Jackson thing. It remains to be seen. Sometimes you have all this momentum building up week after week. You get into this routine, and then you get thrown off of your routine, and things get a little bit different. So, I mean, there's definitely potential for that. I think they definitely could, but at the same time, rest, you hear players talk about it all the time, how important rest is and how good it makes you feel. And I think Henry took a week off before he came back in that game against the Patriots, and he said how good it made him feel. So taking this rest is a huge benefit, but at the same time, it's kind of balancing. Well, you had all this momentum for a team who's won 12 games in a row and was clicking at a record pace. Now you got to see if you can throw it all together on 2 weeks' notice. Can they is the question. We'll just have to see in that regard.
Yeah, I think this is a sign of just how good this team has been all year that I have to come up with questions like these. Any concern about the lack of tight games that they've played this year, the Ravens? They've just been crushing teams. You know, 5 of their games have been by a touchdown or less that they've won.
Yeah, you're right. You're reaching to the rafters here for the questions that you have to ask about these guys, and I don't blame you. It's hard to find a weak spot. I don't think that it's an issue that they've only won 5 of their games by a touchdown or less. 14 wins. They've won 12 in a row. They've won games really any way possible. They've won it at the last second. They've won by, 30, 40 points in some games. They've done everything, and especially when it comes down to close games, you want to have a run game. You want to be able to control that clock and have the ball in your hands in these close games. And when it comes to running the football, the Ravens, as we talked about just a couple minutes ago, pretty good at that, the best ever, statistically speaking. So I would say that they've only won 5. I know it's not much, but I think they're going to be all right.